G'day boys. So to start the term we've looked at time. Now I know we've done a little bit in class, but just to help you with your homework and revising and study, I'm just going to go through a few questions that we had some trouble with in class, okay, on elapsed time. Now the first thing about question one, let's look at this question here, okay. We have two times. We have a time that when the bus departs and the time when the bus arrives. We need to work out how long was the trip, okay, and how many minutes. So the first thing you need to do is to look at the first clock, okay, and work out what was the time when he got on the bus. Now, if we're reading an analog clock, the first thing we need to look at is this small hand, okay? Where is our small hand pointing? Now, it's actually past the 3, but it's not at the 4. So we know that the time on the first clock must be 3 something. And if we look at our big hand is pointing to the 4. And we know that these little increments are 5-minute increments. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20. So the first time of when the bus departs is 3:20. Now we don't have AM or PM for this one, so that's okay. Let's look at the second clock. Once again, the little hand is pointing in between the 3 and the 4. Now we know if the little hand hasn't reached that particular hour, that next number, we know that it is still it's still 3 o'clock. Okay, it's the third hour of the day or third of the afternoon. Now we know that it's 3 something. Now let's look at our big hand. Now let's go again. Let's count. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes have passed, 31, 32. So I'll say this big hand is pointing to 3:32, okay? Now we need to work out how many minutes have passed between 3:20 and 3:32. Pretty straightforward. We know that we can now do our addition, okay, to work out what's the difference between 20 and 32, and we should be able to see that it's 12, okay? So the trip has taken 12 minutes long, all right? And that's how we do our first one. All right, second one, a little bit trickier, okay? This time it's been good that we've got a digital clock already, so we don't have to actually read the clock. We know what the times are, 3:38 and 4:05. Now, if we have a look at our times, there's a difference here. Our hour is different. So we've got 3 and we've got 4. So we need to firstly, the first step you need to do is work out how many minutes does it take to get to 4 o'clock. So if we've got 3:38 and we're trying to get to 4 o'clock, okay, which is 60 minutes, okay, we should know that an hour is 60 minutes. So we need to get 38 to 60, okay? So if we do our subtraction sum, okay, 60 take 38, okay, we do it this way, 10 take 8 is 2, 5 take 3 is 2. So it takes 22 minutes to go from 3:38 to 4 o'clock, okay? 3:38 to 4 o'clock takes 22 minutes. However, our arrival time is 4:05. So we need to add 22 minutes plus this 5. Okay, which leaves us with 27 minutes. So our trip takes 27 minutes long. Now, boys, when you're swapping from 1 hour to the next, always try and work out how many minutes it is to the next hour, okay? If you work out that step first, the rest of it is easy. It's just addition after that. So if you've got 3 and you've got 4, work out how long it takes to get from 3:38 to 4 o'clock. And that's the same with any other problem that you might do, okay? Let's go to a little bit harder one. Alrighty. So let's have a look at this one. Bit of a word problem, so let's break it down. Gianna went for a run at 7:45 a.m. So we know that that's morning, okay? She returned home at 8:17 a.m. How many minutes did she run? Now, this is the same thing again. We've got two times that are at two different hours of the day. So we've got 7:45, a quarter to 8, and 8:17. So as I said before, you need to work out how many minutes do you need to get to the hour. So if we're trying to get this to 8 o'clock, we know that 7:45 is 3/4. So we should be able to see that there needs to be 15 minutes to go from 7:45 to 8 o'clock. Now, if we're at 8 o'clock, it's taken 15 minutes. She still runs for a further 17 minutes. So we need to add that on as well. So now we've got 15 plus 17, 32. So we can now work out it is 32 minutes from 7:45 to 8:17. So Gianna went for a run for 32 minutes. Okay. And remember, the first step I did was go from 7:45 to 8 o'clock. Okay. Get to the hour. As soon as you get to an hour, it's easy. You just add on whatever's left over in the minutes. Okay. All right, the final one, boys, the final one, a little bit trickier again, okay, just to extend us. Daniel boarded a plane at 11:35 a.m. When he arrived at his destination, he saw that the time was 1:10 p.m. How long was Daniel on the plane for? This is a little bit trickier, okay. First thing we can notice is that we've got AM and we've got PM. So 11:30 a.m. we know is in the morning. Okay, so he gets on the plane at 11:35 in the morning. When he arrives at his destination, it's 1:10 p.m. That is the afternoon. So we know that he's actually now arrived at the afternoon. We need to work out how many minutes and hours was he on the plane for. Okay, first thing, once again, you've got 11:35. What's the closest hour to 11:35? We should be able to see that that's 12 o'clock or midday, okay? And that's the same as 12 p.m., just a heads up. Need to see how many minutes from 35 to get to 12 o'clock, which is 60 minutes, okay? So should be able to work out 35, okay, if I add 5 on, that gives me 40. Add 20 on, that gives me 60. So it takes 25 minutes to go from 11:35 to 12 o'clock. Okay, that's the first step. So let's just highlight this. Okay, let's just highlight this. Just because we need to keep that, we need to add that up. So let's leave it over to the side. The next step, we're now at 12 o'clock. It's now 12 o'clock. We need to get to 1:10. So we can now see that it's a clear hour from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. That's one whole hour or 60 minutes. So we can add that over here, 60 minutes. Okay, and we'll highlight that because we know that's what we need to add up as well at the end. Okay, however, our destination time is 1:10. So now we need to add 10 more minutes onto our time here. Okay, because we've done 11:35 to 12, that was 25 minutes. Then we've done from 12 to 1, that's 60 minutes. And we need to go from 1 to 1:10, so that's our 10 minutes here. So now we've got three numbers, sorry, we can add together to work out how long this trip was. So 5 plus 0 plus 0, so let's add this together, equals 5. 2 plus 6 equals 8 plus 1 is 9. 95 minutes he was on the plane for. Now, if in the test it might ask us how many hours and minutes is that? Okay, so we know that 1 hour up here, we've written it here, 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So we know that we've got 1 hour so far, okay? So if you take 60 minutes away from that, you're left with 35 minutes. So we know now, the 95 minutes is the same as 1 hour and 35 minutes that Daniel was on the plane for. Hopefully that's made a little bit more sense for you boys, okay, with elapsed time. Watch it over. Hopefully it helps.